And it's time for some Grade Ace Attorney. Tomorrow we'll continue Kenna on Master difficulty. Speedrunning it to get those last trophies. Since we already finished the game, so we need to shoot, I guess, our own bomb. And triple kill dash attack. Followed by beat the game on Master. I love that smile of hers, honestly. Definitely have to turn the volume down a little. Yep, that's where we finished. Investigation. There's more? Or is it an epilogue? Alright then. Alright, that's all the shit we saw before. And I really must say it.
Objection.
Yeah, because we already saw it. We already saw that. We saw that. So continue puts us back there. So you finished all 5. Alright. Select adventure. Adventure of the Blooming Attorney. How come we could choose this shit even though we haven't done any of them? Ace Attorney Adventures. Great Ace Attorney. Graphics look even better. Through.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over
Her father
the
had passed
vast
away.
ocean. Those days in London
He was sick.
seem like a dream. but I do miss my time in England's vast capital.
That looks like a bonsai tree, but big.
You know, he's flourishing into a truly wonderful lawyer.
Yeah, I'm falling for him.
I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court. Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
So that's 4 months after she left. I found myself faced with another something. Crime. Is that bitch again?
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
Hey, the bitch is dead.
So please, I ask for your
With the
guidance.
evil swan head.
Kazuma-sama.
So it's like the venture of the blossoming attorney. So it's not even him, it's her. 13 August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judiciary. Defendants Antechamber 3 in Japan. Oh. Here I am again after 9 months. So she had a baby. What's up, Hope? You have an itch? Here. Let me. Don't bite. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. She also nerves almost steal my nerves. Find a way to compose myself. Oh, good, you're here. Doesn't do a lawyer to be late. Oh, yes, good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet. Those white eyes aren't doing you any favors, either. You gotta narrow them. Oh dear, oh dear. Truth is, I'm scared to be nervous. I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish I had never been born. Goodness. Not a thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Eugene Mikotaba, Professor of Medicine at the Imperial Yume University. Man who earlier in his life traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances of forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Let's see what good. Would it be correct to think that you're my lawyer in court today? Oh, yes, hi, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, the whole thing. She's as violent as you are. Ray Mambami. Born the same year as I and my greatest friend. The universe so unusual for a woman at our time. She works at the University Research Laboratory helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder. One I wish I had committed. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, I've become a little flushed. Oh my! Oh my! Well, it's just that, you're cute. Shifty eyes. You look like a gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. That. Goodness. I don't think she knows. Knows what? She hasn't realized who I am. I would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh, what? What do you mean, Professor Mikotaba? Even if your best friend can't see through the sky, I think we can relax. Disguise? Yes, I've been dressed this way before, of course, but I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. Let me feel a little relieved to say, as you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? I'm so sorry I didn't say anything sooner, Ray. I just, No! What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? What? The varsity uniform, varsity cap, varsity cape, the varsity badge. Look at you. You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Human University, a male student. I'm so glad you think so. It's okay. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. Woke at 4 this morning to make the start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Women aren't allowed in law. Well, you see, it was the only way. Only way she would be permitted in the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated. Having been born into this body, of course, Japan, I'm barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Yeah, I know, the stupid law. Good thing we left, right? Despite the fact that laws in the line apply to all people, men, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. We know our place. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self in the courtroom door, so I can act for you as your lawyer. Oh, Susato, you got such lamps for me. Of course, you're my greatest friend. Just worried that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Ray. It's so strange, though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And just because you're a woman... What a wretched reason. Why are the women in Japan so violent? I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Ray. Please don't look at me like that with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. I just, you look so dashing. Yeah, so you mentioned it once or twice. You should be pleased. Means you look, convincing as a man. I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped bolster my confidence today. Ray. You're managing to put on a brave face and all this, but I can see through it. That's how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so lightly. Susanoo! You do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't possibly have. I mean, murder. Come on now. Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yeah, yes it is. Perfectly clean. I absolutely no doubt in my mind you're innocent. Which is why I stand by you until the bitter end of this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be at your side. Because that's what it is to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susanoo. Deferment! Counsel! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. We're getting impatient. You should go at once, Ray. If you're guilty, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. If you're late, rather. Such a shitty system. Yeah. You were 2 minutes late. Guilty. On what charge? Doesn't matter. You're guilty. Oh. Stand aside. I don't think I've ever seen him run so fast. And also, Zydo, you certainly surprised your father. And you certainly surprised your father. With such length to be admitted to a courtroom with no prior experience of being a lawyer. There's simply no other way. It has to be it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right. Assuming Ray doesn't know how it came to this. Quite right, yes. I kept the information from her. It would only worry her if she found no other lawyer that would agree to take her case. Wouldn't burden her with that. And is it true the reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it because who the victim was? Some big shot English asshole woman? You should be making the move now. As you know, law isn't my field, but I do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. I'm Susanoo Mikataba, judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder? Still, I have no choice but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Courtroom number 1. So it looks like it does replace all these other things. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Mambane. I don't think I ever had a voice for Mr. Weasley, man. Japanese version of him. Prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Honor. Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready. 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 I'm a good male voice because she's pretending to be a man. So So I'm just gonna go full male unless she's taking a side thought. Oh yes, Council. According to your registration details, your name is Ryutaro Naruhodo, is that correct? Sorry? Oh yes. I had to come up with a suitable male name for you in this little venture. Fair to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Well, Consul? Yes, that's right, as yes, I am Ryutaro. He is about to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. Oh, that turns me on. I don't know why. Like, what's his name? Zap Brannigan from Futurama. It seems Ryutaro may have been considered how better to uphold his manly acts first, and now overdo it. More of this bullshit again today. The veteran and daily. Since you tell me we consider how better to uphold his manly acts first, now we're doing. Those wild white eyes aren't doing you any favors. Relax. Just relax and listen. Ryutaro Naruhodo. Ryutaro needs to consider those wild. Naruhodo? Ah, fresh face in this court, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be... You may be thinking of Inosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This is, his cousin. I'm his cousin. That's right. Yeah, Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but has called the capital for his trial. I assure you matters all his knowledge rivals that of any Tokyo preeminent lawyers. All of them. Tut, what a pitiful situation. Been rejected by every law in the capital that accused us to be called a country boy. Ah, you little bitch. You had to tell her. How dare you? Susanoo is every bit as gallant and dashing as any Tokyo alternative. Who? How you making fun of her? Her? Please be careful, Way. Shush. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. Yes, you are. But I wonder, is your gallant dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? Well, yeah. Is he up to defending you? That's why skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not. I am so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand why Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are wont to filth. The case to be heard at this day is a matter of great significance for our national interest. A Gaijin was killed. Who cares? Next. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial will affect the future relation of our empire. Just like that trial 9 months ago. And yet, the proceedings were such important, we had this unknown yokel by the dock. Dear me. Perhaps it would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense. To determine whether sufficient competent to practice in this courtroom. Oh yeah, we haven't seen what the trophies we need for the second half. Alright, now the trophies. Complete the chapter. And then go around every argument that shovel the spades. Yeah, we need to do that. Yeah. Ladders and step ladders. We know that. Been episode 2 of The Greatest Attorney Avengers. Oh wait, we already did that. So we have the medals. Frustrated Fire. I mean, named Takeshi Auchi and Yujin Mikotaba as victim in episode 1. Father Frustrator. I mean, named Takeshi Auchi and Yujin Mikotaba, named the prosecutor and the fucking father. One having examined his green's bottle before he falls in episode 2. Mr. Sholm's question about who might be something belonging to the convict and the Grace Attorney. Episode 2. Regina and Rinosuke regained consciousness. Okay, that's something. For having examined the head of Kurama again after finding the crucial evidence inside the final chapter. Alright, so first one we have to worry about is getting everything wrong. To determine whether you're sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. I gave another exam like this, and this young and just fucked up every fucking question, but he still won the fucking case. I don't fucking get it. 9 months ago, a certain someone uttered never understood where you stand now. The same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, passed his tests with flying colors. For training an experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. So, Counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions? No. No, I do not. Yeah, some small boobs. Alright, it's time to prove myself. Yes, Your Excellency, but please do not make him simple. Very well, to start with. You will state the name of the victim. Ooh, that is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried. Ah, what's the matter? Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruto-san goes through. Like it or not, minds are wont to blank. Not surprising, really. It's your first time in the position, and in that guise. Even the bright spark that is bound to flicker for falter little under the constant circumstances. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is a dismal failure. Don't fret. You just need only use the knowledge you have gained as a judicial assistant to overcome this problem. Of course! The court record! Yes, the answer is amongst the key information in the case in the court record. That's right, just press R1 to open the court record. You need to flip up to the people section of R1, and if you don't take overly long, Leslie was watching you closely. Alright, check the court record with R1. That's the information I want. I'm waiting, Counsel. Postman report. Time of death just after 2 p.m. Death is believed to be due to a trauma of the victim's lung with a knife blade. Only a single wound was identified. Jezale Brett, female British. August around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination of witness statements. Cause of death, single stab wound from the back, piercing the lung and resulting in fatal hemorrhaging. Death would occur within minutes. Extremely meiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim's in both eyes. Yuji Mikotaba, medical school professor of the Imperial Yuma University, is an authority in forensic medicine and in charge of the university laboratory. He also happens to be my father, Ray Rimbani. Best friend who works as the assistant to my father in the laboratory in the Imperial Yuma University. She is the defendant in this case. She's the Braille Breath, the evil swan head. The victim of the case is a former British exchange student. 9 months ago, she was found guilty of murdering visiting Professor John H. Wilson. And Ouchie. Takeshi Ouchie. The lead prosecutor of the case, who appears to be struggling to accept the changes afoot in Japan, resulting in new turbulent new times in Japan. The Meiji era. I'm waiting, Counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? My father. Victim in this case is, yes, Prosecutor Takeshi Ouchi. What? Nani? What? Why? Why the sudden triumphant cry of yes? Are you threatening to kill me? He seems angry. And you're surprised? You consult the court record? You must look through it more carefully. Oh yes, of course, I'll look at the file. Just the person whose features appear to be the most deathly. Joke. I must say, this most unusual methodology of yours leaves me almost peaches. It occurs to me that with a renewed certainty that reading the information carefully is vitally important. I strongly recommend it. Man's Warehouse. Oh yes, simply can't ignore that imploring look. That's it. Please allow me to amend my answer. Very well. I'll excuse his incorrect response given the wide-eyed state of panic. What is the name of the victim in this case? The prosecutor. Eugene Mikataba. The victim in this case is none other than Professor Eugene Mikataba. What? Nani? Well, to be written off at one's own child. Father, you seem suddenly so much older and wearier than you were a mere moments ago. Because of you, clearly. The judge is asking for the victim's name, the person who was killed in this case. Look at the information in the court record again, carefully. Before you kill me, for mercy's sake. Oh dear. Simply can't ignore this approving look. Father Frustrator. We got that one. 41% of trophies and only 13% of players have gotten this? Only 11% have finished, but 13% have gotten this trophy. Well, I guess, people don't want to get the wrong answers. Those are the extra ones. And now the actual, episode 1 through 5. Yeah, see, it's 20-something%, so it's not too different. Alright, so we got everything we can get. So next thing we have to also examine Iris's shit. We can't forget to do that. Alright, where was the... This one we need to track too. Excellent. Please allow me to amend my answer. Very well. I'll excuse his correct response given the wide-eyed state of panic. What's the name of the victim in this case? Jezebel Brett.
Yes!
That's a high-pitched yes. Victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Jezebel Brett. Jezebel Brett. Name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of the country, I'm sure. Correct. And being a member of our Empire's judiciary, you will be well aware of the significance of that name. She was a stuck-up bitch. So let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indefinitely associated with our Empire's judiciary history? Ah, so you won't be forgotten the case from 9 months ago. But if that's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record. Ah, see, I still remember. That was the start of everything. Jezebel Brett. Yeah, the woman's student persona was the face of Queen Victoria. You say I gotta say that. I gotta say this. Behind that student's persona was the face of a victim, a killer. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria, honestly. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Obviously not. The Queen of England studying overseas. I thought it sounded a little odd. Leave me out of this. Sure, you know the details. Yeah, it's printed 9 months ago. Oh yes, I can't forget. Every last detail about it. The one was an absurd answer you just gave on. No more absurdity, please, Counsel. You will amend your answer. Oh, yes, of course, Your Excellency. Did they both have to call my answer absurd? One student persona is the face of a killer.
Yes!
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine from Pure University was killed. And the culprit was Jezebel Brett. Yep. Dramatic music time. She was a killer, but because she was British, it was okay. Time our country had signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. And it was in the midst of the delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. He was a Uri's Professor Mikotama? Yeah, I was indebted to the man. He was a mentor when I was in London studying forensic medicine. It was I who invited him to Japan as a visiting professor at Lima University. Naturally, the murder of the Englishman on our soil was a matter of government wish to resolve rapidly. So they pinned it on the first local we saw. Indeed it was. Which is why a secret trial was conducted here in the Supreme Court. How the fuck do you know about it if it was a secret trial? A student of the Imperial University, was arrested on suspicion of murder. Second-year English language student by the name of Rinosuke Naruhodo. The saw thing out with the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, and the accused was conducted his own defense. Stuck up bitch. And exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Jezebel Brett. But because the Japanese people are so stupid, they just let her get away and destroy evidence. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reaches a conclusion. Immediately after the trial, the British government thought the prize consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. I wanted to spank her according to laws. Decided she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead. Why Shanghai? Why Shanghai? There's a British consular court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. All that remains for our Empire's obligation was to see the woman's safety on board the steamship. And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed. Well, oh well. On the day before. That'll do. That'll do, pig. I am satisfied that the counsel of the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant, even after some widely stupid answers. Oh. Thank you, Excellency. Over the first hurdle. Now, a summary of the incident, if you please, Prosecutor Alchi, or else you're gonna get murdered. As you wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on 11th August in the broad daylight. On the outskirts of Imperial Capital, under a bright blue sky, in a secluded bathing spot by the sea. Bathing spot by the sea? Incident occurred inside a small beach hut, erect for bathers to rest or change their clothes. Cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal if left untreated. There were 2 persons alone in that beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Membani. Accordingly, there be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially considering she had a powerful motive. Really? And what's that? Police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrest the young lady. What motive is that? Dot dot dot. Dot 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 dot. Wow. That extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say. Certainly true, the prosecution summary was full of words that raised an awful lot of questions. So I only had to pick up the prosecution and consult on what he said. Obviously the fucking powerful motive. You're clearly exaggerating. A powerful motive is a blatant justification. Is that Yokobo using words he doesn't fully understand? I beg your pardon. No matter. Let's put the accused, shall we? Bonnie-san, you're a research assistant from the University, I believe. Yes, I am. And with Professor Mikotama in his laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. Fascinating to hear. Yeah, another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotama, whose research assistant were you assisting then? Oh, well, studying under Dr. John H. Wilson. And that's your fucking motive? She knew him? Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago? The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true? Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting to tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had toward the Englishwoman who killed him. Well, obviously it was filled with hatred that she was done. A powerful hatred. She just hurt herself right there. Shut up, you. Oh no, Ray. Be careful what you say. I rest my case. Motive was revenge, plain and simple, Your Excellency. Well, it was clearly a trap all along. We can use a raised underlying respect for her mentors against her like that. Or details of something we can use to bolster our defense. Pick up the prosecution when he said about being alone together. Baiting spot. If I may, Prosecutor Alchi. What do you want, your fresh-faced shooting young student? Explain, please. Mention of a baiting spot. My apologies. Clearly the modernity has confused a poor country bumpkin and simple old mind. Baiting spots are our very latest trends in health practices from the West. And we are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skin. No, that's not what I meant. Referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, at all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder, why should a known criminal have been relaxing at the PSC? ... Good question. For old time's sake, I believe. Sorry. Brett departed for Shanghai the following day. Final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day off the country's wonderful coast. British embassy had put extreme pressure on our government to comply. So the British killed her. But on what grounds would they agree to such a request? Because, as usual, the government was unable to stand up to foreign powers. The government is very weak and impotent. Impotent. As diplomacy, it seems they don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. Don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who was granted permission, not I. You basically are the government. In any case, it was decided that dedicated detective on duty nothing could go wrong. But in fact, murder took place. Yep. I said, don't look at me. It was that young student girl who did it. Not me. Not me. No one has proved that yet. Don't provoke the man if you don't need to. Sage, you need to gather more information. Being alone now. Membran, me son? Yes, what is it? Naruto-san? I'm starting to wish we just make an alias Ryutaro Susato. Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the baiting spot on the victim in the first place. Why were you alone with her? Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There are people present, the detective who guarding Miss Brent for starters. I was just to accompany Miss Brent as a companion, that's all. Let us be clear. The moment for her death, we were alone to get her from the victim in the hut. You and no one else, but the detective was there. No one else. Truth is, there's only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brent on her baiting sojourn. The accused's last chance to take the victim's life. Case closed. No. Because, as we know, the following day Miss Brent would have extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. The accused would never have been an opportunity to dispatch her again. And how would she know that? Can't even free from conjecture, counsel. Tch. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt of being determined 9 months ago, Brett managed to avoid incarceration instead of continuing her research alone work in the university. Honestly, over a period, she and Ray would have encountered each other a number of occasions. Seeing a murderer, the mention of whom she had great respect for, enjoyed such undeserved liberty. Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai, you could hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment. Poor Ray. So, Your Excellency, we so class to peruse this exhibit. For like our print that shows the scene of the crime and immediately following the grim incident. Thank you, Consul. Tragic image indeed. Bitch got what she deserved. As you can clearly see, there's nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden. Well, there's a corset there. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. Photo of the crime scene has been added to the court record. Fingerprint of the scene taken from the police just after the incident. The stab wound on the victim's back is clearly visible. As I understand it, then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach at the time. Beach hut. I don't know what's the point of the magnifying glass when you never fucking see anything. This is deeply troubling, I must say. Finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally, the prosecutor sheds a lot more to his case. Should prove the accuser's appalling actions were beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm we are just multiple witnesses of the crime. Damning evidence. If they were alone, how could they be witnesses? Witnesses? But who? One of whom I might add is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, assisting with witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Very well done, counsel. Bring forth your witnesses. I, Tekushi, I have been waiting for this moment. Sorry? Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. The trial that months ago here at this very courthouse, when that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. He chopped off my beautiful hair. Ryosuke Naruhodo. Yes? It's a Adachi family name. Will never be forgotten. Nah. I can't lose. I just point the finger at people and they shall automatically be guilty. You become conceited with age, counsel. But the old shall have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of culture lightens tolls. Yes, on a fateful day, my former self died. Start your own Manji revolution? Are you modernizing as well, counsel? Silence! Since we're revenge back then, it has been a minor miracle on top of my head. Sir, the Adachi Grove. See? Seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown. I think that tiny grove is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I don't see it. Where is that hope exactly? I said silence! Today I face another Yoko student in the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you instead. And my victory will be fertilizer and seed of hope on top of my head. You have been warned. That prosecutor calls witnesses to the stand. Looks like the stakes are high on both sides of this trial. I'm just not going to bother with his voice. The prosecution and defense have each as much to lose. Haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life. Yeah, there you are. Hey, you're back. Witnesses, please state your names and occupation for the court. Chief Inspector Sori Hasanaga. Imperial Bureau, people in disguise currently obviously, so I can go undetected. Well, I'm the next big thing in my books. Author renowned for his thoughts in the capital, in fact, yes. It's gonna be sold. Satirical, I am a cat. A sensational success by Soseki Nasume. Oh my goodness. Struggling student for promises, please. Never help me. Need it? No, it's only natural that you feel nervous in my presence. But it all can relax. Call me Soseki even. Yes. What's this son doing here? Tread carefully, Susato. Not that the fellow knows you by the time in London, doesn't he? Well, as you and you really are, this will be over before it began. Yes, of course, I know. Presumes I guess I won't even have forgotten about me. I'm certain he would never forget him. But he does seem to have changed some of the 6 months or so he's been since I saw him. As for Inspector Hasanaga, that amazing outfit is, hard to believe. Do I have something on my face? Or your glasses one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he has to recognize me here. I suppose this is Sky, isn't it? Thought the appearance of the clothes you were wearing a little time ago would make for a more faithful testimony. It's my guided principle that carry out this testimony flawlessly. Well, I appreciate why the Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. Well, business the writer such as yourself having being at the scene Suzaki-san. Well, you see, I've been asked that day to give a lecture. I'm sorry, I'm fucking falling asleep. At the Imperial Humane University Grand Hall Lecture Hall. Lecture Hall. At Humane University? After the lecture, I had a very simple, pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. Professor over there, in fact. My President Mikutaba? Ah, yes, that's right. I was arranged by one of the newspapers. It was. They wanted some story on too about a former student who studied at the Great Britain. Of course, being not an author, I pressed never to leave alone. Secret spy, snapshot, scribble notes, and scripper my piracy. See, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student. Friend, I have plenty of copies. Oh, thank you very much. He practically threw the paper at me. So, someone's article has been entered to court. Containing an article about the discussion between my father and Soseki-san. Being quite spirited. Following the interview with the professor. Hey, it's the cat. I don't know, I might just stop streaming in a little while if I don't, perk up. Following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made my very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. Explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. He had to work in the laboratory, under strict surveillance, of course. Which utterance the university immediately contacted the government to seek us guidance. Responsible was permit Miss Brett to go as long as the detective accompanies her. The detective I'm at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satori Isunaga. Phone should be fully charged by now. Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all the members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. Unfortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my, Inspector, you're bleeding still. Oh, you do have something on your face now. Oh, how excited! I do apologize. And why is he constantly bleeding? Is they have cancer or something? We don't fucking know. Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father? I don't know. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, meant as my assistant Ray would have been invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But if only I had, I've never seen that awful sight. Then it's ransacked by remorse and regret. Very well, I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. Not all this jibber-jabber you've been giving. You'll give your account all that you have witnessed in your impromptu incursion to the beach. To the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly ranked by remorse and regret, I am. Witness testimony. The witness scene. The incident I was ordered to on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch a crab when I was suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran to the beach at once where I found the pair in question. Yes, a young girl was astride with a Englishwoman, dagger in hand. She was stabbed wildly. What have we told you about lying? Saw the blood on the blade. It proved to be that she had been stabbed the victim multiple times. Multiple? Indeed, it does appear from this testimony both witnesses are present and saw it. A single deep stab wound. And they said multiple, huh? It does appear, indeed, it does appear that the testimony of both witnesses saw it present. The very moment of the heinous crime. What? Now you recall I promised evidence of as well. A phrase I use again. Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence. A pen? What do you dare, Consul? So-called fountain pen, is it? It's very technologically advanced. Correct, Your Excellency. I found at the scene while examining the body. Appears that in her dying moments, she in her final ounce of strength This includes a piece of evidence that would be possibly identify her killer. What? Nani? Instantly, you cast your eyes over on the photograph of the crime scene once more. She is holding a pen. Oh, goodness me. The victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberate in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. You will kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Ah! Owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Raymond Bonnie. The initials of the defendant. She could have handed her the pen. No! She could have just handed over that. Fountain pen will be omitted immediately as evidence. Critical evidence. Fountain pen has been added. The victim was grasping on the initials are RM. So have I omitted anything? Can I examine it? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. It's a bright sky outside in the court today. Perfect for ascribed guilt, I feel. I don't understand. The prosecutor out you 9 months ago. I had none of this man's poise. Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. And it's like, but the prosecutor doesn't like that. It's new age fangled technology. Naruhodo-san! Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yes. Me. Is there no Naruhodo in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't a single Naruhodo in your courtroom either. Cousin Ryotaro, pull yourself together, please. Alright. Let's see, let's count this out of the judicial system. Finding consistent with witnesses' testimony and prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would have handled cross-examination. Let's see what I can do. Cross-examination. When it's seen. The day of the incident was ordered a special surveillance assignment as disguise.
Hold it!
Is that jaunty disguise? A turtle on his head. Correct. Wait, no. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn this swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. I tried and tested it. It wasn't to keep a British woman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day. Again, you failed your orders, and this try to test it off him was the answer? Being able to blend flawlessly in the crowd is an important part of a detective's job. Submerge myself in salty while eating only my total floating conspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water. But there's no need for you to blend in the background in this assignment, really, was there? If I made you arrive late at the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Ahem. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment. You failed your job for being too good at your job. Managed to catch a crab, but I've heard of this car wall behind me.
Hold it!
Ah, you're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Soseki-san? In more literal terms, you might say it was a scream that would have pierced the heavens. yeah! Or was it like... Of course, that's just a metaphor. We're not out there to describe things, so... So that wasn't at all like this in England. Anyway, I spun around. The noise in the beach hut immediately fell upon my gaze. Yes, the beach hut. Here is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Government ministers, huh? She got to use that special an area? Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. Beach has a simple structure, erect as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun. Although the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself, Watchman, I was forced to change into my swimsuit in the sand. Somewhere. Imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyways, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. An actual crab. Or more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hut-wise. Ran into the beach hut and once I found the pair in question.
Hold it!
Wait, by pair you don't mean to say, but how could that be? Oh no, you misunderstand. Honestly, I mean the victim and the defendant, right? Ray Mambani's son. Oh, it would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the start. He saw the pair at the start. Is that what she's thinking? If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes. Dear me, pitting your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish. It was an outside chance. I just realized I said something before I said something so silly. So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court what exactly you found in that information pair in the hut? Well, it was a sorry sight. Grisly scene. Part of the Norend curtain hanging in the doorway and stood inside, only to see defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body. The victim sprawled on the sand. My eyes was very nearly cracked on the ominous side of that met my eyes. How thoroughly appalling. How thoroughly appalling. Doesn't appear to be lying here. Second-son, can you confirm what Inspector Osanaka saying, I wonder? That you like a literary man's opinion? Yes, a young girl was standing astride of the Englishwoman with dagger in hands. Nah, she was stabbing wildly. That's not what he said.
Hold it!
Stabbing wildly? You actually saw her do it? Oh, indeed. Terrible spectacle. Pain the Inspector. The bloody torrent. Author's torment. Eek? Every sight and every sound was still carved into my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least. At the future literary sensation. Counsel, what on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream? Oh, no, what are you insinuating? Manly is a Japanese man as you are. I wonder if I might interject here. So, Saki-san, something you said is troubling me. That was my impression. You were... Worse than that, I believe. Yep. Meaning you're lying. ... Shifty eyes. So, you mean to say... You're not confident you really did see what you're describing? No, I mean, yes. I mean, I know what I saw. My ears didn't see me when I heard that scream, hence my eyes didn't see me either. Describe everything so vividly. I should publish it in tomorrow's newspaper serial. Sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn. I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press the author friend here on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become. Oh dear. How awkward. We should present evidence to say he's that fucking idiot. Saw the blood on the blade and proved to me that she had stabbed the victim multiple times.
Hold it!
She was stabbed multiple times? How can you be sure of that? Very simple. From the blood on the blade. The blood? When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the dagger raised in the air. Yes, that's right. I saw it too. Oh? I didn't know that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once at the time of arriving at the scene. Yes, that's right. I saw it too. The victim had already been holding the defendant's fountain pen in their hand. Which means I can be sure that the victim did not die instantly. Yes, right, I saw it too. Maybe here in London is too much for him. Sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. Logical argument sound, at least. Well, as I said, that was my guiding principle to carry out all the testimonies flawlessly. That should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly. Jab. It's just my personal opinion, but of course. Dot. I That should have been your principle. No one sees me. Consul, you refrain from mocking the witness. Oh no, I just have so many thoughts swirling in my head. It's all I could do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute. Goodness, my dear, you must really try to calm down. But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what the two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have had a reason to lie. Remember, and you must remember, I think, witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons, a misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion, even. Hint, hint. Miko top the guy on the right. Ah, delusion. Hint, hint. What's important is that we determine the truth. There's only one way to do that. Yes. With evidence, of course. Yep. Spoken like a true judicial citizen. During this testimony, you can use R1 to pick a piece of evidence and present consideration. Carefully read statement and compare. Go to the court record. Find some conflicting information, that consistency you're looking for. It's all about inconsistencies. You can find a witness that statement. Here's the conflict with a piece of evidence. Present the evidence to the witness. The triangle and the way ahead will present itself for you, I'm sure. Yes. All right then. What was the Ace Attorney called it? Not contradictions, not inconsistencies. All right. To consider the details of the evidence in the court and inconsistency. Put them up to the task. We already know which statement. Don't forget, you can have the witnesses repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start from the beginning. Remember, those wide eyes are quite forgivable. Besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl. You're right. I need to listen to the testimony again from the start. He was playing with a crab. She was stabbing wildly. Bitch, please. She was stabbing wildly, huh?
Yes.
Your Excellency, I must object to the last statement. The evidence you thrust in my direction is supposed to prove your point. I apologize, I presented it rather more forcefully than I intended to. You will kindly refrain from these overly exuberant outbursts, Consul. May they be verbal or material. You really put me in my place there. So not the autopsy report? A single deep stab wound. But that's the evidence, though. She was standing with the dagger in hand. She stabbed wildly. Oh, okay, so it's you then.
Objection!
Objection. That accusatory cry I just whooped up from a deep inside me. I can finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruto-san stood on this bench. Stakes have been very, very high indeed. What's the meaning of this menacing pose, Council? Why are you pointing at me like I'm a bitch? I need the witnesses to clarify something for me. Ooh, what, where, when? Wow! Not you, Suzuki-san. Queries directed at the inspector and Sonaga. At me? Your statement just now. You said the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yeah, that's right. I saw it as I saw it enter a hut. The victim was already standing over the victim. Bloody knife in hand, murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. What? Nani? Get to the point, please, Consul. In the postmortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only. Oh. In other words, Inspector Sanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. Suzuki-san. Me? He claimed that seems embodying the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did. Mildly. But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife when you saw the defendant holding it. Yes, and meaning you didn't fucking see it. So how could you witness something from outside? It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way you could have been the blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. Ah, true. Then what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us? Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. Suzuki-san, in fact, saw was not the moment of the stab the victim at all. The moment that the defendant, in fact, withdrew the blade from the victim's back. That can't be. Excellent work, Suzuki. He exploded them with an objection and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically. Objection! No, don't contradict me. I'm the only person who can accuse people. Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin's stage a scene much like this one in the trial 9 months ago. Halfway to child with a half-baked objection, attempting to steal the show. You're right, there was a certain similarities. Except the so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who was only a half a head of hair. Yes. Slander! My hair is quite... My head is quite adequately dressed. In any case, it's like a stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds. It's not slander. Your head is cold. Let's just say that. Yeah, let's share it there too. In any case, all this talking of stabbing or drawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a bit of difference. I made an accusation, that's all that matters. What? Nani? Why not? Gauge your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged a deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. That was the moment that she had withdrawn the blade from her for her next strike, as the witnesses say. That was already tainted with blood because the accused already stabbed the victim. You still can't prove that. All I see is shown at your little display. The mustache author is prone to moments of extravagance. I am in agreement with the prosecution. The defendant was seen wielding the blade at all. That is sufficient grounds for her action to be viewed as suspicion, not guilt. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we are back where we started. Sorry. Consider this, you young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled a knife from the victim? And with a demon cold-blooded composure too. Partially demands explanation. Yeah, it better be good. Did Ray pull a knife? Ah, yes, going for the jugular. What does father mean by that? She's trying to kill him. Let the court hear your answer then, counsel. Truth is, I don't really know. I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we won't have a case. Why the defendant pulled the knife out of the victim's back? Surely she could save her life, hide a knife, stab her again. According to postmortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. She would have remained unconscious for a short while after sustaining the injury. Indeed, giving her time to take a hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates the killer. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Mbani was compelling to act when faced with a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. What? I never thought of that. ... Tish, do you hear that, Your Excellency? It's even at the best we could expect of this young yokel. Indeed. Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify. Respect to the slipshod assertion forwarded by the Yokel Defense Council, I mean. Slipshod? Chish, yeah. Excellent idea, Inspector. Young Yokel, hopefully a male criminal knowledge will come to law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not a little common sense. Very well, Inspector. Permit you your request. You'll testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. We're moving forward. Yes, sir. I'll do it flawlessly. Forensic medicine primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge of any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife out of the victim. I forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. So did you. You let her fucking... Actually, no, not this. Not for this one, actually. The murdered the victim murdered 9 months ago after Wilson was the defendant's highly respected mentor. No one kills someone for their fucking mentor. Is that what you said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yes, the weapon's of a stopper for the wound that prevents a massive blood loss. So the doctor is ready to provide proper treatment. That stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see. And that's why yokels should stay on the farm. You know, crack from some obscure mountain village could have better such basic knowledge. You know, they were giving someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out nose. So is that why you know? Oh well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound. So how do you know, prosecutor? Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up with that behave like a bandit. Father, is it true what they are telling me? Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been aware of it. So you're claiming ignorance of such fundamentals that would prove fatal in many ways. But then why would Ray have done it? Pull the knife out in full knowledge that she could be fatal for Miss Brett? I don't know. Don't mention anything about the knife to me. Seems impossible to believe, but could my friend actually have Suzato? Yes. Pull yourself together. You mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Consul, it's time for your cross-examination. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify an issue with the established facts, I'll be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards. I understand. Leaving your clients is fighting for their cause until the bitter end. Knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. Forensic medicine primer. Wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding.
Hold it!
You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. That mean if you use due care and attention it would be alright? I wouldn't have thought of needing spelling it out really, but blade is like a stopper for the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. And how do you know she's not a medic? Thinking about thinking could be madness. Just don't do it. Can't do it. Well, thank you for such a thorough explanation. You see, Counsel, when the act of thinking, the result is a bloodbath. Back to the witness testimony, please. That's a basic knowledge that any medical research assistant wants to start.
Hold it!
And in that case, is there an obvious explanation here? Which is... Clearly, the defendant, Miss Ray Ramban-san, does not possess an ounce of sense. Why do you think that, Professor Mikotawa? Not sure you should be labeling your best friend as lacking common sense. I thought it would be better to labeling her as a murderer. I don't know, young people these days. If that's friendship, I don't understand it. Careful, Counsel. Lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing. Oh dear. That recoiled on me rather badly. That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. While in medical research, Mibani-san would certainly have been aware of it. How do you know she's not a trained medic? In other words, no good reason why the defendant would have tried it. Pulled it. How do you know she's not a trained medic? Did you even bother to ask her, or just the fact that she's a woman? But the defendant had suddenly encountered someone she knew lying on the ground bleeding to death. So that could have shocked her so delicate, so he called her to remove the blade inadvertently. Well, you don't think inadvertently actions can be explained in this. Woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would have behaved so irrationally. The irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? She's going with that defense. Oh dear. You have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could make such a bigoted views. Oh dear, perhaps I'm letting on my male persona take a whole little too much. Well, I have managed to convey the basics now. It should cover the medical side of the argument. Let's not forget that the student didn't have a motive for killing him. Whatever the motive, isn't just a Mimani-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against. You don't know the defendant. And you, counsel, you do not appear to know the law. Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of the argument, not feelings. With this fledging to defend herself, I'll say I pity the accused. So do I. Spectre, you will reiterate your point on the defendant's motive, please. Ah, yes, Miss Brett in many ways was a sworn enemy of Benbani-san. The man murdered the victim murdered 9 months ago was Dr. Russell's defendant. Highly respect the manner. And
Hold it.
well, yes, that's true. Also recognize when Bonnie Stomp selling offer her position and its assistance despite being a woman. Extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been very broad-minded individual. Also had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Mabani-san's abilities. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point. It's hopeless. I can't find a single crack in his testimony anywhere. You know, if we knew drawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, think of any way to explain why she did it. Susato, it sounded as when he escapes them. Especially important to remember the fundamentals. Fundamentals? And so counts the courtroom, isn't it? Of course, I've been through the court record dozens of times already. I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You need to take evidence at face value. You can must examine it in greater detail, too. Now we can finally do that. Ah. This is your first time playing with the role of lawyer in the courtroom, so you need a reminding of the rudiments. Only ask. Do my best to help you. Does that have any evidence of the court record? No, that's certainly not high. Sure, we'll do the refresher. I just want more text, so we'll do the refresher. Yes, Father. Spartan guidance is what I need. I think I might overdoing it slightly, but... Very well, so open the court record of R1. Let's take a look at the fountain pen for which was submitted as evidence. Press X to examine it further. That's all there is to it. Yes, initials RM. They're clearly engraved on the barrel. Rotated piece of evidence, all angles. Can look at everything and make sure that you haven't missed any clues. Will do. Rotate and watch closely for anything out of the ordinary. There's some sort of emblem here, look. But this isn't a Yume University one. It's not some other organization, I suppose. This is some kind. Doesn't even imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray. Fountain play RM is emblem some kind. Yeah, that puts a hole in it in his theories. Ranches England returnees tell all. Is that the interview in Suzuki-san, is it? Looks as though it was quite an exchange. Yeah, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. Photographer managed to capture the moment of his hand karate chop me on the neck. I hope you weren't hurt. How about the backside? Newspaper from Suzuki-san. There'll be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from UA University Research Lab. Yume's medical research. Father, isn't that your lab? What the? Let me see that. Poison's been stolen? How many papers Suzuki-san gave us? You're saying you didn't know? Embarrassing as for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. No such thing. I wonder if the reporter gleaned this information. Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there? I thought the boy would have been working on the strictest confidence. Ray was put in charge of the project. And she was managing it? It was written here as true. Means that she tried to hide the theft from me. Moreover, the details were leaked somehow. I don't believe it. We need to read this article very carefully. Article: the poison had been entered the courtroom. Poison was stolen from the laboratory, and Father was responsible for the incident, knew nothing of the incident. Alright, now we have evidence. Now we have usable evidence. Let's not forget she had a motive.
Hold it!
Which one was it?
Objection!
Present evidence. So, murder 9 months ago, defense mentor. I don't think that's where the evidence goes, but we could try it.
Objection!
Nope. I think it's clear. Is that so, counsel? Exact so, counsel. The person can explain the court precisely how. How? Well, definitively. The contradiction lies in your apparent eagerness to present an empty argument, I feel. Need to reconsider. Well, thinking of the evidence. User says it could know. No good person would attempt to tie to pull the victim's knife.
Hold it!
Bleeding to death. Woman's prerogative, small-minded.
Hold it!
Doesn't an ounce of common sense.
Hold it!
So the medical side. The madness. So it has to be one of the last two. So one of these last two will be the ones that maybe not the motive you're saying.
Objection!
Yes, as the music is going, it's not the right evidence.
Objection!
How do you expect the mentor? Couple of feathers on the floor. The victim, the man murdered was 9 months ago, was this.
Objection!
So not that.
Objection!
Alright, so... Oh, we never did open it. Take the pen's... If we take the pen's lid off... Let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? What the fuck is this? Must be a little reservoir that holds the ink. Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib. Something wrong, Father? So there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there. That's not... Oh yeah, you're right. It's pretty empty. Be on the verge of running out, I suppose. It's a very small reservoir liquid. Oh, liquid still inside the ink reservoir. We didn't actually examine the letters. RM initials are really clearly engraved here. But that Miss Brett was clinging onto his pen and his diamonds is very clearly a message to. Very clearly, I mean. Well, there could be any doubt that this is the key evidence of this case. Could she have been using this to stop the bleeding? I say again? Certainly is not Yuma University. Police really ought to have spotted that. Raise guilt from the onset. RM in the small reservoir liquid is still inside the ink reservoir. So now we have a reason to use the pen. Why else would she pull out the...
Objection!
So, not that. Pupil constriction. What is meiosis?
Here's what I found.
The cell division of germ cells and sexually reproducing organisms that can produce gametes and sperm. With meiosis.
Here's some information.
Progression through the phases of meiotic cell division, which canonically can represent 2 cell divisions. I wonder if that's useful. Extreme meiosis. Maybe she was poisoned?
Objection!
Poisoned. Nope, there is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant had decided to draw the knife in the victim's wound. What? Nani? Heh, Yoko is not a poor grasp of the law, but also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think identified? It's here. This newspaper article. Article about deadly poison having been stolen from the laboratory at Imperial Yume University. The victim perished from a stab wound. A poison has no relevance to this case. But... Prosecutor Ouchie, you will let the defense speak. Shut your fucking hole, you bitch. But the newspaper article, the court cannot rely on such kind of hearsay in the wretched publications carry. Newspapers are not proof of anything. Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis of your claim. You'll indicate the court precisely what part of the newspaper article you mentioned assertion from. Your Excellency. Yes, of course. Thank you. There had done something to further endanger Miss May's life without a just cause. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... There was more stuff? Really? Oh, yeah. Following the lecture, disturbing the scene, being kept the secret was stolen from Yume University. The smallest amount entering a body, either via the mouth or a wound with a poison-laced blade, would be fatal within minutes. Current methods cannot detect newly developed chemical, whereas he would have to be consulted. Onset symptoms occurs within minutes, starting with the impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Symptoms will be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently a new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to be commissioned by the military. Deadly in tiny amounts. The article reveals the following properties about the poison in question. The toxin enters the body and the knife laced with the poison is rapidly absorbed and causes death within minutes. Are you suggesting the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison? It would explain why the defendant, Membani-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What? Nani? It's complete and utter nonsense. There's no such thing as science, only religion. Everything's based on religion. Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife from the blades of the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life. The prosecution cannot deny that possibility. Have you not read the post-mortem report? Called death was hemorrhaging. The word poison appears nowhere in this document. Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold. Oh, please, it's clear desperation. The weasel's last bargain breaking the wind. Boy, there's nothing new whatsoever in this case, and I believe the defense is well aware. No proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable, anyways. In that situation, why is this done as a way for medical assistance to arrive? Instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal action to remove the blade. Without a strong reason to suspicions then, or an argument makes no sense. Exactly, well put, Inspector. What guys are you doing, huh, Yoko? Do I suspect a stolen poison to be involved? Want grounds? Give you grounds. What? Nani? You can't possibly. From your expression, Counsel, it appears that those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware. You must have evidence in my face. I get lonely without evidence. Words alone are empty or not, of no value in a modern justice system. The court demands evidence. Yes, Your Excellency, I'm well aware of that. Seen that many times. The place at the side of the Old Bailey. In that case, Counsel, we present proof to the court now. What evidence is a clear link between this case and the poison and apparent death? I'll toss the report. Ask the court to refer to the notes section of the postmortem report, which reads: extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, observed in the victim. Clearly, being a Yoko with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death. Well, under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. There was an extreme constriction instead. That's most certainly unusual, yes. What are you doing, you Yoko detective? In the newspaper article, there are following information of the stolen poisons. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, ending with acute contraction of pupils just prior to death. Contraction. What? I was wrong? The defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed with a knife in the back, happened to notice the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes have constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have had suspected poison immediately. Without doubt. Prosecutor Auchi, think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence. You, how dare you use evidence against me? I'm supposed to use evidence against you. Yoko student, Yoko professor! I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions. No! Eugene Mokotaba. Yes, Your Excellency? I believe you are best placed to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. Will you tell the court the truth of the details reported in this newspaper, please? Pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? Toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. You mean to tell the court that the reports of the theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. If I returned to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say. Listen to that bumbling academic. Unaware of theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads it in the newspaper. You didn't even believe this newspaper a minute ago, you jackass. I take full responsibility for my competence on my supervision. Father. Pitiful situation for a university professor. How dare you lose our biological weapons? You should have more control over your students rather than allowing them to go off in killing sprees. That's totally unfounded. Hold it. None of this is Professor Mikotaba's fault. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Ray? Bonnie-san, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated. But it was me. I was the one who noticed the poison we were developing had been stolen that day. What? Nani? So you knew? I had just placed I had just been placed in charge of overseeing the project. And the day the professor and Soseki-san were interviewing together at the newspaper. That's why I noticed the poison was missing. And a tiny amount it was. So, why didn't you let me know immediately? I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. And we know where, that pen. So I found out I tried to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. The dainty Englishwoman. Miss Jezebel Brett? Giselle Brett? That's why I decided to join a group of people sent to the seaside. So I beat each other to confront Miss Brett. She just sat on the stool at the back of the hut smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, wherever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got her feet. Her falling to her knees in front of me and collapsing on the floor. That was when I saw a knife in her back. There is a hole in the back. There is a hole. A knife-sized hole. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, she was seized with fear. I was seized with fear. Pupils her eyes they shrunk to a tiny pinpoints. I don't believe it. In other words, you realize the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison. My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips while I've been with her. Which only left one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of a knife in her back. And that train of thought is what spurred you to withdraw the blade. Yeah. If the amount that in her bloodstream was small enough, she might have still had a chance. That's what I hoped. So sorry for laying silent all this time, staying silent. Dot 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 dot. Your attempt to hide the truth from what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end. Thank you, Your Excellency? Question mark? It barely is perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here. It's courtroom now. Your Excellency, do not be deceived. There's a woman talking. Women are not allowed to talk here in the court. Everything just collapsed before her eyes, you say? Well, Membani-san, if that's the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed. Well, don't answer because of simple truth. Is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge? I'll stab you by fucking revenge.
Objection!
But you have no conclusive evidence to prove your assertion, do you? Oh, I have evidence, and it's otherwise very much conclusive. We have conclusive evidence is not. What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it. You will produce aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Alchi. Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student. What? Nani? I'd imagine there would be no need for you to submit this evidence. But you brought this on yourself. What the? More damning shot exists. The cruelty of the error of that bench is almost palpable. Beach. Removing the blade. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature, for it shows the precise moment that my son plunged the dagger in the back. No, that's not true. No! I don't believe it. Well, how did that happen? Yeah, someone took a picture through the very hole the knife came through. Uh-huh. Ah. Order! Order! Order in the head! Futurama. Never let it die. Counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that pierced my courtroom? Yes, sir, my balls haven't dropped yet. Perhaps his voice is yet to break. Yokels are slow in mind and slow to mature. I'll show you who's slow to mature. Careful now. So that was starting to show her face here. It's often said a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence. Green photographs have been entered. Taken from a moment the victim was attacked, so he claimed. Friend Ray can be seen kneeling over Miss Brett. Can't believe he had the photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. It's such a starker image, is genuinely lost for words, but wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took the photograph? Good question, Ray. Objection! That's not important here. Stop trying to divert attention. Don't look at my flimsy evidence too closely. Yeah, who took the photograph? It was Prosecutor Alchi, wasn't it? Oh? Objection! Objection, bitch. That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photograph or pen was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. Ah, no! I will uphold the defense's demand. Prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. No. Well, I'm afraid I can't do that. Pardon? You see, this print arrived in the Imperial Police Bureau's headquarters by express post yesterday. Nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown. Goodness, you submitted shoddy evidence, you piece of shit prosecutor? Are we to understand then, counsel, that the full knowledge of the fact that this photograph was as murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fits a submission as evidence in the Supreme Court? When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated a brief moment before, because you knew it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you? Silence, you yokel student and blabbering professor. How dare you contradict me? What matters is the blatant truth of this print is so eloquently expressed. What matters is the eloquent truth of this photo is, but the defense has already admitted to pulling their knife blade from the wound. Clearly, this is the moment the knife was plunged in the victim's back, but the moment it was withdrawn. Don't waste the court's time on your ramblings. Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is what I doubt the most compelling evidence presented in court. defense is unable to shed any further light in this matter. I believe the conclusion is clear. Oh no. Susato, this is the time for you to fight. Oh yeah? I'll tell you exactly how the bitch was stabbed. If you got established so far as true, then it could be only no doubt. Photograph shows the moment where we withdrew the blade from the victim. Yes, we just need to prove it somehow. You have plenty of time to rule your defeat and slow train back to the provinces. And the rule of the day you come against Takeshi Aruchi in the court of law. I can't determine who took the photograph, then the trail's gonna come to an end. There's a clue here somewhere. It must be some way to work out who took it. Well, Counsel? Your Excellency? You don't see enough of a face, or a face or anything, so... The burning question who took the photograph. Truth is, I have an answer. The murderer. The murderer took the photograph. This isn't about whether I can or cannot come up with the answer now. Except you have to. Then the other person who took the dramatic photograph of the print is, I assure you, someone in the defense will reveal. What? No, you can't possibly. But as you so boldly claim you can, please, do enlighten us. Fortunately, I am unable to present a name. How utterly underwhelming that you really believe you could... Shut up, bitch. However, let me present evidence. This is a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity. What? Very well done, Counsel. Present your proof of the court. The evidence, a piece of evidence you claim reveals something about the identity of the mysterious photograph. This one.
Take that!
This piece of evidence in question is this. ... I'm afraid, Counsel, when presenting evidence, you must learn to temper those wide, nervous eyes. I'm obliged to penalize you for lack of focus in both your eyes when your answer. You squeeze your head in your hands and, again, Counsel, punish yourself for presenting utterly irrelevant evidence, but that's... As many times as it takes to win this trial. Your Excellency, may I? Present another piece of evidence, but no more squeezing, Counsel. Ah, the dialogue. I can't present a name. Piece of evidence reveals that important about photograph's identity. The pen.
Take that!
Piece of evidence in question is this. Nope. Nope. There's something we're missing. Maybe it reveals something about the person. What piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the photograph in this mysterious photographer? The location of the photo. The same photograph. So, not that. Ah, stabbed from behind.
Take that!
Autopsy report. But the autopsy report, like, it stabbed from behind, and she was sitting in the back. We know what we're trying to say, we just don't know how to say it. A piece of evidence you claim reveals something about the identity of this mysterious photographer. It's not the autopsy report, it's not the photo, it's not this photo. The poison article. So it's not the article. What piece of evidence do you claim? What piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mysterious photographer? Wait a minute, it's from the side. Her hat's pointing to the door. So then it'll be over here. The only other thing I can present is this. I presented everything, did I not? The pen is not in her hand right there, but we can't see it. can't see it, and we can't see her, One piece of evidence that you claim reveals something about the identity of the photograph. Yeah, the only thing we had left is the other newspaper. What's this? The newspaper again? Wrongshaw's England returnees tell it all. It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. Ah, yes, she's right. Look closely, you notice that these lines are white lines on the right-handed side. Like a Y shape and an inverted Y. With the crack on the lens. There are some white lines on the right side of the photograph. Oh, yes indeed, they already caught my eye as it happens. What is it? A shadow of some kind, presumably? A branch of a tree or what like? Those are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I assure you. Now, look closely at this photograph. Good gracious. Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present in this photograph, too. Why are you showing evidence? Oh, that tells us nothing. Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely. The branches of a tree. You just said there's no tree. Wouldn't be any trees growing inside of a hut on the beach, Council. It's quite remarkable about this, as the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarities have transpired? Korea's matching pattern appears in both photographic prints as a result of a camera defect. It's a camera defect. Cracked lens. Obviously, must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs. If the photographic device? Yes. Conflicts say that the cameraman's lens must be scratched. And the scratched lenses cause unwanted lines to appear at the every print taken with the device. In short, two photographs are under consideration here. They're taken with the same camera. But must be hundreds of cameras of such devices here in the capital. It'd be impossible to identify the owner of a particular one. Shut up, you dumb bitch. I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Alchi, that one of the photographs featured the newspaper article. Newspaper? No such thing as newspapers. That's right. The author of the article is the mysterious witness to this crime. What? Mini-mew. Huh? I see why you're called a Wrongshaw's England returnee. What are you yelling about? You already testified. It's Mine-Mimo, I tell you. Mine-Mimo. Mine-Mimo. Huh? Sasaki-san? What is that? You say Mine-Mimo. Ever since I returned from Japan, reporter from the Shokyu News have been hounding me, following my every move. Reporter by the name of Raiten Mine-Mimo. Yes, haunting me from dawn to dusk. Ah, he mentions it. Secret spy, snapshots, stories just grew up on my piracy. It's him. Got that same reporter be. Camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am, stuck in the middle with right in Minamimo. So you're saying that this picture was taken by Minamimo? Yes, Lord Excellency, yes. Your Excellency, Esquire. Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. He was just here. I'll adjourn for a short recess in the meantime. I gotta take a shit. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. As you say, Your Excellency. One more thing. Want this knife, the murder weapon. Examine for traces of poison. You'll solicit assistance of Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood, jackass. No, I'm gonna stab myself to see if it works. Yeah. Minamimo! I guess that's part one. Oh shit, that took a while. But we just finished Dropout 1. This will be Dropout 2 now. 13 August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendant's Antechamber. Number 3. I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Ray. We have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. So I decided to shoulder the burden alone. No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. Hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone else found out. We know where it's from, the pen. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? You had no doubt on your mind about my innocence. You stand by me until your last. I remember. A lot of Twitter posts lately. I'm gonna finish a little early today. And yet I don't deserve your trust. And important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor. Bend me over, spank me. Something. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. I'm not better, you know. I'm no better. Oh? Even though my heart knew you pulled the knife blade from Miss Beckett's back, there was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato! I'm sorry, after I stood here and promised that I'd stand by you and always be on your side. I betrayed the faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. I quit. Go to jail. No, no, no! This situation has taught you both a valuable lesson. Placing an unbridled faith in one another is no easy task. Yes, Father. Yeah. In fact, that struck me home. Certainly struck home. So I can see more clearly now. So, Ray. Yes? You find it in your heart to forgive me? Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. I was so scared, you know. When it happened, I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know you stole the poison. Well, now, what do you mean? Flack. And a moment later, she suddenly got her to her feet. And before collapsing to the floor in front of me with a knife in her back. It happened right before my eyes. She was stabbed in the back outside. And you were the only one in the hut at the time. That's right. Just Miss Bird and myself. There was no one else. I don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that. Through the hole in the back. A great mystery indeed. Still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It'll be alright. However it happened, we really want to go by the sea of day. Promise you, we're going to prove everything you've said you saw was true. Spoken like a true Mikotaba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time to make sure we have our facts in order. Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the coming proceedings. Police should now hopefully have identified it in the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. Police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see. Yes. Without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Chemical reagent? I sent my colleague of mine's office some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I'm too sure I had some as well, though, just in case. Chemical reagent, special indicator solution for a new poison under development by my father's team. Been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory. They will appear to be written in a foreign language, I don't know. It's German. So your knowledge of English is going to be a little help, I'm afraid. Could have written in medicine on the Japanese. We'd all be able to read it. German is an international language of medicine, my dear. Where have I ever heard that before? Nowhere. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling it a bottle of Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. Let's use it. Yep, that's where the poison is. What's the matter, Zato? You're suddenly very quiet. This is a newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yumei Medical University Laboratory. Wondering how that information got out and it was a government secret. It was all that English woman's doing. What? It was when the professor Soseki-san was being interviewed in the laboratory. So-called English woman swam in without any compulsion, she said, Professor Mikotaba. Oh, Professor. Surely your guest would love to hear about your work in the substance there. Put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. Soseki-san's rank curiosity has been piqued, so little choice but to give a cursory introduction. So it's like he's on you about the poison? Yes, it's highly likely. The reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught the glimpse of the toxin too. This mean a Mimo. Hey, did the reporter join you when you went to the beach? Oh no, I don't remember the reporter from being there. He was stalking you outside the hut. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there. Oh? A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe in the seaside. Seki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. He obviously didn't go back. He seemed to follow the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. Then he presumably posted it anonymously to the police. Ah! Yes, this must be what happened. Counsel! We just heard the new witness is ready now to testify. Trial's about to resume. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Ah, shit. I saved it on the wrong one. Oh well. I think that's a good stopping point because I'm tired and I actually want to take a nap, and I hate taking naps, but I am extremely fucking tired. I gotta relax a little more. So thank you all for coming in, hanging out, lurking. Hope you have a good night. Yeah, just I had to be up very early this week and yesterday, so it's like better I just stop early. So thank you all for coming in, hanging out, lurking. Have a good night. Don't forget to check out my socials so you stay up to stream changes and read the random stuff I post. I'm gonna be hiding some more videos tomorrow. So let's see what I post. Me adjusting my